The quantum displays suddenly shifted, showing new connections forming between the solar network and human minds. The patterns were becoming more organized, more purposeful, as if the ancient system was responding to humanity's balanced approach. "Send this data to every research center on the planet," Elena commanded. "We have less than 16 hours to understand what we're becoming. Because I don't think the hegemony is afraid of what we might do with this power. They're afraid of what we're about to evolve into," James concluded, watching as the quantum patterns continued to grow more complex, more beautiful, and more terrifying in their implications. Above them, the crystalline ships of the hegemony began to move, breaking their formation as they prepared for what they saw as necessary violence. But in doing so, they failed to notice that the quantum patterns emanating from Earth's sun had begun to spread, reaching out to other stars in an awakening that had been planned for millions of years. The true purpose of the solar network was about to be revealed, and neither humanity nor the hegemony was prepared for what would come next. The first shot from the hegemony fleet never reached Earth. As the crystalline ships launched their quantum-based weapons, something extraordinary happened. The solar network, now deeply entangled with human consciousness, responded. Dr. Elena Rodriguez watched in awe as the quantum displays showed the impossible becoming reality. The weapon's energy signatures simply dissolve, their quantum structures unraveling as they encountered the complex patterns generated by humanity's collective consciousness. "How is this possible?" Captain Zaraval's voice crackled through their communication system, her crystalline form flickering with agitation. "Our weapons are based on absolute quantum principles." "That's exactly why they failed," Elena responded, understanding flooding her mind as the solar network shared its secrets. "You're trying to impose order through technology alone. But quantum reality isn't about control. It's about relationship and possibility." The displays showed the hegemony fleet attempting to regroup, their perfect formations disrupted by waves of quantum interference. Each ship's crystalline structure vibrated with visible distress as their technological systems encountered phenomena they couldn't comprehend. In meditation centers across Earth, billions of humans maintained their focus, their collective consciousness now working in harmony with the solar network. They weren't fighting the hegemony. They were simply allowing the quantum reality of the universe to express itself more fully. "Dr. Rodriguez," James called out, his voice tight with excitement. "Look at these readings from other star systems." The main screen shifted to show a cascade of data from astronomical observations. Stars throughout the galaxy were beginning to show the same quantum patterns as Earth's sun. The network wasn't limited to their solar system. It spanned the entire galaxy, waiting for a species that could activate it properly. "It's like watching neurons firing in a brain that's awakening," Elena breathed, watching the patterns spread. The ancient beings, they didn't just create a communication network. They created a way for the galaxy itself to achieve consciousness. A new signal cut through their communications, not from the hegemony fleet, but from somewhere much deeper in space. Ancient quantum protocols activated, and a message began to form in the minds of every human connected to the network. "You have achieved the balance," the message seemed to say, though it came as pure quantum information rather than words. "Technology without consciousness leads to stagnation. Consciousness without technology remains limited. Only through their union can true evolution occur." The hegemony ships hung motionless in space, their crystalline crews experiencing the message in their own way. Zaraval's form appeared again in Elena's lap, but this time it was different, humbled, almost reverent. "We thought we had reached the pinnacle of evolution," the alien captain said softly. "We thought our mastery of quantum technology made us the natural guardians of galactic order. But we were wrong. We had become stuck, unable to grow further because we had forgotten the importance of consciousness itself." Elena nodded, feeling the truth of it through her connection to the solar network. "Your technology is incredible," she acknowledged. "But it's like trying to understand a dance by analyzing the chemical composition of the dancers. You can gather all the data you want, but you'll miss the essential thing that makes it beautiful. The quantum displays showed new patterns emerging as the hegemony ships began to resonate with the expanded consciousness field. Their crystalline structures, already designed to channel quantum energy, started to adapt to the new reality. And somewhere in the quantum realm between thought and reality, ancient machinery stirred to life, preparing to test whether humanity was ready for the power they had unknowingly awakened. The crystalline ships of the hegemony emerged from quantum space like shards of frozen starlight. 12 vessels, each larger than Earth's largest cities, arranged themselves in a perfect dodecahedron pattern around the planet. Their arrival brought the world to a standstill. Dr. Elena Rodriguez stood in the United Nations Emergency Council chamber, her presentation on the solar quantum anomalies forgotten as the alien vessels dominated every screen. The room hummed with tense whispers and hurried communications. Dr. Rodriguez, Secretary General Maya Patel's voice cut through the chaos. Given your research into the solar anomalies, what can you tell us about these visitors? Elena studied the quantum readings from the alien ships displayed on her tablet. Their technology operates on quantum principles we've only theorized about. But there's something else. She enhanced the display, highlighting particular patterns. Their ships are generating quantum fields that mirror the ones we've detected from the sun. The chamber's main screen flickered, and every electronic device in the room synchronized to a single frequency. A figure materialized in the center of the chamber, a crystalline being whose form shifted like light through a prism. Captain Zoraval of the hegemony had arrived. People of Earth, the aliens' thoughts translated directly into comprehensible speech through quantum field manipulation. We have come because you have done the impossible. You have awakened what should have remained dormant. Elena stepped forward, her scientific curiosity overwhelming her fear. You mean the solar quantum patterns. You know what's causing them. Zaraval's crystalline form pulsed with what might have been amusement. Your star is part of an ancient network created by beings who transcended the boundary between consciousness and quantum mechanics. We believe your species too primitive to activate these systems. We were wrong, and that terrifies us. The admission sent murmurs through the chamber. Secretary General Patel maintained her composure. Why does this development concern you? Because Zaraval's form shifted to a deeper, more ominous hue. In all our millennia of technological advancement, we never achieved what you have stumbled upon by accident. The stellar consciousness network was a myth, a story of godlike beings who could shape reality with thought alone. Yet here you stand, your primitive minds somehow resonating with powers you cannot comprehend. Elena's tablet chimed with new data from her lab. The solar quantum patterns were changing again, responding to the heightened emotional state of Earth's population. We're not manipulating anything, she argued. We only discovered these patterns recently. We don't even understand what they mean. Precisely why you must be contained, Zaraval declared. The hegemony cannot allow an unprepared species to access such power. You will surrender control of your star system to us, or we will be forced to take action to protect the galaxy from your uncontrolled evolution. Dr. James Chen, who had been quietly analyzing data in the corner, suddenly spoke up. These quantum patterns, they're not just responding to consciousness, they're amplifying it. The more aware we become of the connection, the stronger it grows. Elena's eyes widened as she processed the implications. The very act of the hegemony revealing the truth was accelerating humanity's connection to the solar network. She watched her readings as the quantum entanglement patterns grew more complex with each passing moment. You don't understand, she addressed Zaraval. Your presence here, telling us about this network, it's strengthening our connection to it. You can't contain this because the act of containment itself increases our awareness. The crystalline being's form flickered with distress as her own sensors confirmed Elena's words. The quantum fields emanating from Earth's sun were indeed growing stronger, more ordered, responding to the collective realization of billions of human minds. You have one planetary rotation to surrender control, Zaraval declared, her form beginning to fade. After that, We will take whatever action is necessary to prevent catastrophe." As the alien presence vanished, Elena turned to the assembled leaders. "They're afraid," she realized aloud, "not because we're dangerous, but because we represent something they can't control or understand. Their entire civilization is built on technological manipulation of quantum fields, but we're accessing the same power through consciousness itself. How long until they attack?" Secretary General Patel asked grimly. 24 hours, Elena replied, already formulating a plan. "But in that time, we need to understand exactly what humanity has awakened, because I don't think this is about containing us. I think we're part of something much bigger than either humanity or the hegemony realizes." Above them, the crystalline ships maintained their perfect formation, while beneath their feet, the quantum connection between human consciousness and solar energy continued to grow stronger. The next 24 hours would determine not just the fate of humanity, but perhaps the very nature of consciousness in the universe itself. The global meditation network went live at midnight UTC. Billions of humans, connected through quantum-enabled interfaces designed by Dr. Elena Rodriguez's team, focused their collective consciousness on a single goal: understanding the solar quantum network that had awakened within their star. In her laboratory at CERN, Elena monitored the incoming data streams with Dr. James Chen. The quantum displays showed patterns of unprecedented complexity as human brainwave activity synchronized across continents. "Look at this," James pointed to a particular pattern emerging in the data. "The quantum field responses. They're not random. They're forming some kind of coherent structure." Elena leaned forward, her eyes widening as she recognized the implications. "It's like a language. Not words or symbols, but pure quantum information encoded in the relationship between consciousness and solar energy." The patterns shifted and flowed across their screens, becoming more ordered with each passing minute. As humanity's collective focus intensified, the solar quantum network responded, creating feedback loops of increasing complexity. "Dr. Rodriguez." Michael burst into the lab, clutching his tablet. "The hegemony ships. They're reacting to the quantum surge." The massive view screen showed the crystalline vessels attempting to maintain their geometric formation, but their perfect dodecahedron pattern was wavering. The quantum fields generated by billions of focused human minds were interfering with their technology. They built their entire civilization on technological manipulation of quantum fields, Elena realized. But they never explored the direct interface between consciousness and quantum mechanics. "We're creating patterns they can't predict or control." A communication request flashed across their screens. Captain Zaraval's crystalline form materialized, her structure showing signs of distress. "What are you doing?" "The quantum disruptions are destabilizing our containment fields." "We're not doing anything hostile," Elena replied calmly. "We're simply trying to understand the gift we've been given. Your arrival made us aware of the connection, and now we're learning to use it." "Impossible," Zaraval flickered. "Organic minds cannot directly manipulate quantum fields. The technological infrastructure required would be." "That's where you're wrong," James interrupted, pulling up new data. "We're not manipulating anything. We're communicating. The solar network isn't a tool to be controlled. It's a bridge between consciousness and quantum reality." The displays erupted with new information as the meditation network reached critical mass. Patterns within patterns emerged, revealing structures of thought and energy that transcended conventional physics. Elena gasped as understanding flooded her mind. "The ancient beings who created this network," she breathed, "they weren't trying to build a weapon or a power source. They were creating an evolutionary mechanism, a way for consciousness itself to evolve beyond the limitations of physical form." Zaraval's form pulsed with rapid color changes. "You cannot be allowed to access such power. You are too young, too unstable. The hegemony has maintained order in this galaxy for millennia. We will not let your reckless evolution destabilize everything." But even as the alien spoke, more data poured in. The quantum connection between humanity and their sun was growing stronger, more refined. People across the globe reported experiences of expanded consciousness, direct perception of quantum phenomena, and a growing sense of connection to something vast and ancient. 16 hours until their deadline, James noted grimly. And I don't think they're going to wait that long. Their ships are charging weapon systems. Elena barely heard him. She was transfixed by a new pattern emerging in the quantum data. This isn't just about humanity, she whispered. The network. It's been waiting for a species that could bridge the gap between technology and consciousness. The hegemony went too far in one direction, becoming dependent on external technology. But humanity. We maintained the balance, James finished. Our technological development never completely overshadowed our exploration of consciousness and intuitive understanding. The quantum displays in Dr. Elena Rodriguez's laboratory at CERN pulsed with an otherworldly rhythm. She had been staring at the same data set for 6 hours straight, running simulation after simulation, each one confirming what should have been impossible. The sun, humanity's constant celestial companion for billions of years, was breaking the laws of physics. Run it again. She commanded the quantum computer, her voice steady despite the trembling in her hands. The massive machine hummed to life, its quantum processors calculating probabilities across countless parallel universes. The results appeared on her holoscreen, identical to the previous 17 attempts. The sun's core was exhibiting quantum entanglement patterns that simply shouldn't exist in nature. More concerning still, these patterns were growing more complex by the day. Dr. Rodriguez, her assistant Michael Chang's voice crackled through the intercom. The director of NASA is on the line. They've detected it too. Elena closed her eyes for a moment, letting the weight of the situation settle over her. She had hoped she was wrong, that some error in her equipment or methodology could explain the impossible readings. Now, with NASA's independent confirmation, she could no longer deny the truth. Put them through to my office, she replied, already moving through the labyrinth of quantum computing stacks. The air hummed with the energy of mankind's most advanced technology, yet Elena couldn't shake the feeling that they were children playing with toys compared to what they were discovering. The wall screen in her office flickered to life, revealing NASA Director Sarah Williams and a panel of grave-faced scientists. Dr. Rodriguez, Williams began without preamble. Please tell me you have an explanation for what we're seeing. Elena pulled up her latest data set, sharing it to the conference. The sun's quantum signature is changing. The core is exhibiting entanglement patterns that extend beyond normal space-time constraints. It's as if, she paused, knowing how it would sound, as if something or someone is modifying our star at the quantum level. The silence that followed was deafening. One of the NASA scientists, an older man Elena recognized as Dr. James Chen, leaned forward. Are you suggesting artificial manipulation? I'm suggesting that either our understanding of stellar physics is fundamentally flawed, or yes, something is altering our sun's quantum structure. The patterns we're seeing, they're too ordered, too precise to be natural phenomena. Director Williams's expression hardened. How long until these changes affect Earth? They already are, Elena replied, pulling up another dataset. Global quantum field measurements are showing fluctuations unlike anything we've ever recorded. The entire planet's quantum substrate is shifting in response to the solar changes. Consequences? Unknown. But whatever's happening, it's accelerating. The entanglement patterns are becoming more complex by the hour. At this rate, Elena's voice trailed off as new data flashed across her screen. That's impossible. What is it? Williams demanded. The quantum field. It's responding to human brain activity. There's a correlation between global human consciousness patterns and the solar quantum fluctuations. It's subtle, but it's there. Before anyone could respond, alarms blared through Elena's office. Michael burst through the door, his face pale. Doctor, you need to see this. The group rushed to the main laboratory, where the quantum displays were alight with activity. The sun's quantum signature had shifted dramatically. forming patterns that resembled neural networks on an astronomical scale. "It's like it's waking up," Elena whispered, watching as the patterns grew more intricate with each passing second. High above Earth's atmosphere, unbeknownst to the humans below, the hegemony scout ship Eternal Vigilance dropped its quantum cloak. Captain Zoraval, her crystalline form shimmering with concerned energy patterns, studied the readings from the primitive star system with growing alarm. "Impossible," she breathed, her crystalline structure vibrating with disbelief. "The humans have activated a stellar consciousness network. Alert the High Command immediately. Protocol Omega is now in effect." As her message raced across the galaxy through quantum channels, Zoraval continued to observe the impossible events unfolding before her. The species that the hegemony had dismissed as primitive had somehow stumbled upon the greatest secret in the galaxy, that consciousness itself could shape the very fabric of reality. Back on Earth, Elena Rodriguez stood before her quantum displays, watching as humanity's understanding of the universe began to unravel. The sun, their eternal companion, was about to teach them that consciousness and physics were not separate domains, but two aspects of the same cosmic dance. "It's offering you a choice," Elena realized, reading the patterns. "You can continue to resist, to try to maintain control through technology alone, or you can join us in something greater, a true synthesis of consciousness and quantum mechanics." Above Earth, the hegemony fleet's perfect formation had completely dissolved, replaced by a more organic arrangement that pulsed with new possibilities. More ships were arriving, not as reinforcements for war, but drawn by the awakening that was spreading across the galaxy. "We have hours remaining," James said, checking the time. "Hours until everything changes," Elena finished. "The network isn't just awakening. It's offering every spacefaring species a chance to evolve together. The question is, are we all ready to take that step?" As if in answer, the quantum patterns shifted again, revealing glimpses of what that evolution might mean. It was beautiful and terrifying, promising a transformation more profound than either humanity or the hegemony had imagined possible. The true test was about to begin, and its outcome would determine not just the fate of humanity or the hegemony, but the very future of consciousness in the galaxy. The transformation began at dawn. As the sun rose over each time zone, humans connected to the meditation network reported the same experience, a sensation of expansion, as if their consciousness was growing beyond the confines of individual minds. The quantum displays in Elena's laboratory showed patterns of unprecedented complexity as humanity and the solar network achieved perfect resonance. "It's beautiful," Captain Zoraval whispered, her crystalline form shimmering with new frequencies as she stood in Siorn's main control room. The hegemony ships had landed, their crews choosing to experience this moment on Earth's surface rather than in orbit. Elena watched as the quantum field visualizations showed consciousness and technology merging in ways that defied traditional physics. This was always meant to happen, she realized. Not just to us, but to all spacefaring species. The network wasn't waiting for the most advanced civilization. It was waiting for one that could show others the way. The ancient quantum protocols were now fully active, transforming both human and hegemony consciousness. The crystalline aliens' rigid technological structures began to flow more organically, while humans gained direct awareness of quantum processes that their science had barely begun to understand. "We were wrong about evolution," Zoraval admitted, her form pulsing with new insights. "We thought it was about achieving perfect control through technology. But true evolution requires both the precision of technology and the creative chaos of consciousness." Around the globe, the effects of the transformation became visible. The quantum field connecting humanity to the solar network strengthened, and with it came understanding. Not just of physics and technology, but of consciousness itself, its true nature and potential. Dr. James Chen, monitoring the global data feeds, suddenly straightened. "Elena, look at this. The pattern. It's repeating across the galaxy. Other stars are activating their networks." Other species are beginning to connect. The main screen showed a cascade of awakening consciousness spreading from star to star. Humanity's activation of their local node had triggered a chain reaction, awakening ancient systems that had lain dormant for millions of years. This is why the precursors created the network, Alina said softly. Not to elevate a single species, but to create the conditions for collective evolution. They knew that true advancement couldn't come from technology or consciousness alone. It had to emerge from their synthesis. The hegemony's rigid hierarchy was dissolving, replaced by a more organic organization that reflected their growing understanding. Their crystalline technology, once used to impose order, now served as a conduit for expanded consciousness. "We thought we were protecting the galaxy," Zaraval said, her form now pulsing with colors that would have been impossible for her species before. "But we were really just maintaining a holding pattern, waiting for someone to show us the next step. Waiting for you." The quantum displays showed the final stage of the transformation beginning. The solar network, fully activated, began to create new structures in space-time itself. Bridges between consciousness and quantum reality that would allow both humanity and the hegemony to explore existence in entirely new ways. "This isn't an ending," Alina realized, watching as the new pattern stabilized. "It's not even really a beginning. It's an invitation to all species to join in something greater than any of us could achieve alone." Across Earth, humans were discovering abilities that seemed like magic, but were really just the natural result of consciousness and quantum mechanics working in harmony. The hegemony's crystalline forms had become fluid, adaptable, capable of expressions and experiences they had never imagined possible. "What happens now?" James asked, his consciousness already beginning to expand beyond normal human limitations. Alina smiled, feeling the answer through her connection to the network. "Now we learn. We grow. We help other species understand what we've discovered. The hegemony spent millennia maintaining the galaxy's status quo. We get to help it evolve." The sun rose fully over Arnon, its light seeming somehow different, not just illuminating the world, but participating in it. The quantum network hummed with potential, offering glimpses of what consciousness might become when freed from its traditional limitations. "We were so afraid of change," Zaraval mused, her form now a symphony of light and possibility. "We never realized that evolution itself is the only true constant in the universe." As humanity and the hegemony took their first steps into this new reality, the solar network continued its quiet work, preparing for other species who would eventually join them. The age of separation was over. The age of synthesis had begun. And somewhere in the quantum fabric of space and time, the ancient beings who had created the network observed with satisfaction as their long plan came to fruition. They had known, millions of years ago, that the future of consciousness in the galaxy would depend not on the most advanced civilization, but on the one that could maintain the crucial balance between technology and awareness, between control and creativity, between the individual and the collective. They had waited for humanity, not because humans were perfect, but because they had never stopped questioning, never stopped seeking, never forgotten that the greatest mysteries of existence lay not in the stars above, but in the consciousness that perceived them. The universe itself seemed to hold its breath as a new chapter in the story of consciousness began to unfold.